Would you save the world if you had to become the villain? I don't think many of you would say yes, but Lelouch v Britannia did. Before we start, I have to say this video will contain spoilers for Code Geass. I'll try to keep them to a minimum, but I would recommend you watch the show before watching this, and be prepared, there might be some major spoilers towards the end. Lelouch v Britannia was a far-reaching genius and rebel who basically fought dictatorship with dictatorship. Even though it sounds pretty crazy, somehow it kinda worked. Sorta. Kinda. In a way. And all it took was mistreating and traumatizing everyone he ever loved. But, I mean, that's not that big of a deal to Lelouch. It was a small price to pay for change. But that begs the question. Was Lelouch really a hero? Or was he a villain? Or was he actually just a tool, a necessary evil needed for change in the world? And if peace is built with lies and suffering, was it ever really peace? Let's talk about Lelouch, the man who turned a mask into a symbol of power and change, and manipulated the world by killing his own parents. Lelouch's story starts in despair. His mother's killed, his sister's blinded and paralyzed. Sorta like Johnny Joestar, am I right?
Johnny Joestar.
What the fuck? Man, I don't want to talk to your bitch.
And he's kicked out of his own family by his father, the Emperor of Rage-Baiting, Charles Z. Britannia. Lelouch quickly learns that in this world, power means living, and without it, you're nothing. So when Lelouch gains his ability, the Geass, the power of complete control, he uses it exactly how you think the average teen would. Yeah, you're right, you guessed it. He murders thousands of people and starts a world war under the name of Zero. See, Zero isn't exactly a person, rather it's a symbol Lelouch used to manipulate the world. Lelouch is playing a game of chess worldwide, and Zero's just his king. Zero's a savior, a god, a symbol of freedom, yet he himself is not free from the grasp of Lelouch. Lelouch is misguided and broken. Zero is. Lelouch believes he can control everyone and everything in his total plan for change with his new dangerously strong ability of the Geass. But remember, kids.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah, we get it. So, a prime example of the curse of Geass, of him misusing it, is actually when Lelouch accidentally tells his sweet, peace-loving sister to commit mass genocide on the people he works to protect. But it's okay, we all make mistakes. Some worse than others. Here, Lelouch learns that despite his absolute control, the only thing that never plays by his rules are the consequences of his actions. He realizes that no matter how careful and methodical he plays his hand, the chaos of the world always hides a card in their sleeve. Lelouch originally builds his rebellion out of the want for justice deep in his heart, but he eventually gets misguided down a secondary path, one of complete control. Zero is not a single person, but rather an idea. That is what makes him such a dangerous leader. The fact that he has no single identity means that anyone and anything can stand behind him under their own beliefs of who and what he is, and what he's doing all this for. Wait a minute. That's the wrong reality-defying teen with a mask. But, hold on. Joker's actually a great example. See, because of his mysterious identity hidden behind the Phantom Thieves, people all around the world are able to believe in him because they don't know who he is. They don't have to see him as a villain. They can imagine him how they want, how they need. Because, like, seriously, if they found out the Phantom Thieves were children, I don't think they'd probably believe in them very much. Lelouch's power grows exponentially behind the mask, because people project their own hopes and desires into it. They can believe in it because it's what they want. People are willing to follow Zero blindly because he brings a certainty to the world that's already uncertain. Almost everything Zero ever said he would do was ultimately achieved in a way. He never broke a promise, really. Because of that, he gains so much trust that they can just walk off a cliff with him and they'll trust him. Lelouch dresses up like he's bloating in a school play. But why? Well, he does it to create an image of recognition, a definition of symbol. The cape, the voice, the poses. It all is a theme he creates, a play, a story. He creates an image that anyone can see and believe in. There's even a deep meaning in his name. Think of the word zero. It means nothing, emptiness, the absence of something. Zero acts in the same way. He's neither on the Britannian side nor the opposing side. He works in between, equaling the sides out. He not only fights the Britannians, but also fights their opposing side sometimes, all for his own benefit of restarting this system to a zero. Lelouch was never strongest with his weapons or men standing behind him. Rather, he was strongest with his performance he put on. Lelouch made the world buy front row tickets to the show he called Zero, and they paid him with their blind loyalty. Enter Suzaku Kururugi, Lelouch's, okay, he's not his lover, it's his friend, but whatever he is, what I can say is that he's the personified contradiction to Lelouch in the series. He wants to rebuild the system from the inside out, whereas Lelouch wants to take a hydrogen bomb to the system and rebuild it from the ground up. They're perfect lovers. What is this script? No, they're perfect enemies. Suzaku is hopeful yet naive, while Lelouch is practical yet pessimistic. But somehow they both throw their ideals just straight out the window. Suzaku ends up getting something that most of you wouldn't believe. A job! Suzaku joins the system he hates so much, while Lelouch becomes the tyrant he wants to rid the world of. Together, they contradict each other, creating the two flawed halves of the world. They both work for the same goal, yet have completely different ways of achieving that. Funny enough, in the end, they both end up working together in one system they create to rid the world of all systems. The Zero Requiem. Suzaku becomes a hypocrite. He not only joins the system that he hates so much, but he joins Lelouch to produce his final lie, the greatest and most evil system of all. This relationship is one of the many, and I mean many, reasons why I think Code Geass is just amazing. The philosophical writing, the purposeful contradictions, they all help to build off of each other and really show the impact of every character's choices and decisions. Their motives, their dreams, why they do what they do. It's all developed throughout each and every character. Lelouch believes in control. That's why he hates chaos. He wants to create a world where Nanoli can be happy, even if that means he must become the chaos he so ever hates. This again is a contradiction deep within Lelouch's character. One of the many that show how of a thoughtful character he is, and how he has so many sides. He writes his own rules of good and evil, He hides behind the mask of Zero as he manipulates from behind the curtains like a mad puppeteer. Despite Lelouch's great intelligence, his overconfidence and his safety from consequences is what causes him to almost lose everything he ever loved. This, similarly to someone like Yoshikage Kira or Light Yagami, could be seen as a direct reason for his downfall. Even though he never fully lost, the very thought that he couldn't is what almost brought him down. Fair warning, the rest of the video is going to contain pretty major spoilers for Code Geass, so if you haven't watched all of it or you don't want to see the ending, then probably should click off now, but if you do, thanks for watching. I'll see you later. For those of you that are still here, you should know, Lelouch didn't always win. I mean, we all know that he lost so many times. He lost Shirley, Euphemia, among many others. Every win he had came with its equal sacrifices and losses. His last gamble, Zero Requiem, wasn't a win, rather a last-ditch effort for penance. Zero Requiem is Lelouch's final last-ditch effort to create a better tomorrow. He realizes that he became obsessed with the thought of power. And yeah, no kidding, dude. I mean, like, did you see what he did? But he works to the very end to finally complete his original task. Along with his boyfriend, What? Along with Suzaku, Lelouch purposefully becomes an enemy of the entire world. He became a tyrant no one could ignore. Using the hatred born towards him, he's finally able to unite the world under one motive: to kill him and him alone. I know this is a little bit out of order, but I want to talk about the idea of glass in Code Geass. I know, just stick with me for a second. There's a few quotes in the series that bring up a material of glass, not just as filler, but it's symbolic. But why glass? Because it's both fragile and transparent. It can reflect, it can shatter, it can reveal things. Take this quote from Lelouch.
It's your king.
If the king doesn't lead, how can he expect his subordinates to follow?
Here, glass isn't directly referred to, but I'd say it falls under the same metaphor. That's because the king Lelouch talks about is one who must move first, a, quote, greater leader, while the opposite would be a king that represents fragility, one full of ego, a sort of glass king, who's transparent yet fragile, rather than one that's strong yet opaque. In Lelouch's eyes, a king that moves first would be better. Lelouch is calling out those weak leaders, the kind who wear a crown built with lies. But here's the kicker. He's kind of describing himself. Lelouch is the king who leads from the front, but he's also that king made of glass, constantly hiding behind a mask to protect his own fear and guilt. Looking deeper, glass can also present a transparency. If a leader isn't open, if they hide too much, their men won't follow behind them. So Lelouch instead chooses to move forward first, not revealing that so hidden side of him. Lelouch is both kind of kings. He's not only inspiring, one that moves forward first, he's also open sometimes. But at the same time, he keeps his darkest secrets behind the mask of Zero, hiding behind it, almost using his men as a tool. He is duality. He's the man who leads, but also the one who shatters. He's a deep contradiction to himself. In the end, Lelouch creates a master plan to die by Zero's hands. And you may be asking, but how did he do that if he's Zero? Well, after all his hard work, he turned Zero into not just a person, but a symbol, an idea that people can make their own change. Suzaku takes on this mask, born of rebellion, and kills his own boy. Can we stop with this? Okay, let's try this again. Suzaku takes on the mask and kills his best friend. It was Lelouch's final master plan. It was both genius and idiotic, yet it works. Lelouch takes all the hatred and sin of every single person in the world and dies with it, leaving only behind pure peace. He does this to allow every person, no matter who they are or where they came from, to move forward to a better tomorrow. Lelouch v Britannia is the ultimate paradox of a character. He fought for peace by creating a world filled with hatred and destruction. He's a liar who created hope and a future. A hero who died being seen as a villain, greater than anyone the world has seen. How can you be a hero without a villain? But how can you be a villain without a hero? In Lelouch's own words,
I have a question for you, Lord Guilford. What do you do when there is an evil you cannot defeat by just means? Do you stain your hands with evil to destroy evil? Or do you remain steadfastly just and righteous, even if it means surrendering to evil?
In either case, evil remains.
A paradox. Is it merely wordplay?
In the name of Cornelia, I choose justice!
I understand. In my case, I commit evil to destroy the greater evil.
the ethics of his methods are questioned even by him. Lelouch doesn't know if what he did was right or wrong, but all he knows and all he cares about is the outcome. He managed to do what he said he was going to do. He freed the world from their dictatorial leadership. He saved people who had been misjudged and mistreated their entire lives. But that's the question. Was Lelouch right? Or was there a better and more righteous way to rebuild the world? Was Suzaku right? And did Lelouch's methods destroy the system and make a better world? Or did he tear down the system and remade it? These moral questions, along with the fact that you never, and I mean never, know if Lelouch is doing the right thing or if he's pure evil, creates one of the best character ever written, in my opinion. The complexity and thought-provoking nature of his character turned Code Geass, Lelouch of the Rebellion, from a normal show with robots and pizza to something deep, metaphorical, something real. And that's one of the reasons why I love this show so much. Well, let me know what you think. Was Lelouch a hero? Was he the worst evil? Or was he actually just necessary for change? But thank you, seriously, for watching me ramble, like always. I tried a new style of writing this time, a little bit less serious, some more jokes. I personally really liked it a lot more. Let me know if you did, and maybe next time I'll review a show you guys suggest, or just do something random that nobody cares about. But until then, I command you to subscribe and like the video. Goodbye.